teach you how to make a classic French chocolate souffle with all the tricks so your souffle can rise all the way up to the 6th floor, 7th floor, 8th floor, very high. And I'm also going to make a very beautiful garnish. We are gonna make molded pralines, and then we are gonna place on top of our souffle for crunchiness, for a little texture, and also for the look of it, because it's gonna look marvelous. So first thing first, I always hear everybody saying that, and I always wanted to say, so I kind of forced myself to say it. It wasn't natural. We're gonna butter our ramekins, and you don't have to have ramekins, but as long as the sides of your ceramic bowl or whatever is straight, you can use that. Brush all the inside of your ramekins with room temperature butter. And sprinkle some sugar on it. You're just coating the sides and the bottom of our ramekins. And if it's a sweet souffle, you're gonna sprinkle with sugar. If it's a salty souffle, you can sprinkle with either grated cheese or just breadcrumbs. When you're done, place your ramekins in your refrigerator. And a beurre meunier is basically butter with flour, and that's the thickener of our mixture. Combining the butter with the flour ahead prevents it from creating lumps when you add this to your hot milk. Work with it until it looks like a smooth paste, just like this. Here in my pan, I'm gonna add my milk, and then I'm gonna thicken this with my beurre meunier. And chocolate souffles, they're much easier than other types of souffles, even though they're the most delicious. The base for this chocolate souffle is a bouillie, this mixture of milk thickened with flour. Bring your milk to a boil, and as soon as it starts boiling, add your beurre meunier. From this point on, you have to stir it constantly for 3 minutes so it can achieve its full thickening power. After 3 minutes, it should be thick like this. With your mixture still warm, add your chocolate chips or chocolate chunks, it doesn't matter as long as it's good chocolate, and stir until the chocolate melts. So just add your egg yolks. Make sure this mixture is not super hot because we don't want scrambled eggs. We just want the egg yolks to incorporate well here, not cook here. Add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And now add your rum. If you don't want to add alcohol, that's fine, don't add it, but alcohol brings a nice flavor to our souffle, to a chocolate, especially rum, and don't make a big deal of it. It's like 2 teaspoons. You cannot even make an ant drunk.
I know you say you're ready.
My base is ready, and before I whip my egg whites, which is the most critical part of our souffle, and it's also where all the secrets and tricks are, I'm going to make my crunchy praline to go on top of my souffle. If you're not interested in garnishing your souffle, if you're just like, oh, whatever, just make a souffle, just forward the video and skip this part. Easy. Remember our last episode of Le Technique? I taught you guys how to make almond brittle. So take the almond brittle, pulverize it. You're gonna have this fine, beautiful golden powder. And now you make a stencil, any shape you want. I made the size of my ramekins, 2 round shapes. It's just a paper that I cut through. Get your silpat or your parchment paper. Place your stencil over it and sprinkle your beautiful praline.
Strain won't stop for anybody to get off.
a thin layer because we want it to be delicate. Remove the stencil and place this in your hot oven that at this point should be preheated at 400 Fahrenheit. It's gonna take less than 1 minute for it to melt, and it's gonna take even less to burn, so be careful. Removing it from the seal pad when it's still hot and place it in your countertop. At this point, it's so malleable that you can actually make tulle or make another shape. Now it's hard and crunchy again. Now it's time to manually whip your egg whites. Make sure your bowl is free of grease because grease inhibits egg whites from whipping. And I'm not going to use my mixer, and you shouldn't use yours as well because you have to have full control of the area you're incorporating in your egg whites. Otherwise, you can over whip it and then your souffle won't rise as much as we wish. Use a balloon whisk because the bigger the wires, the more air we incorporate. In a stainless bowl, add your room temperature egg whites. Always remember that room temperature egg whites whips to a higher volume. Start whisking gently. First, incorporate some air, and at the time it looks more white like this, you can start adding 1 tablespoon of sugar, very slow at a time. The sugar helps the elasticity of your egg whites. Keep whisking until you reach soft peaks, and it's better to actually do this slower than faster. Tired, but at least my biceps are hard. We want this in soft peaks. We want this to form like a hook. See? When we lift it, and we have to be careful not to over whip this because we need to leave room for the air bubbles we incorporated to expand in the oven, and that's what's gonna make our souffle rise. The air bubbles expanding with the steam. So if you over whip this, your air bubbles won't be elastic enough to expand anymore, and then your souffle is gonna rise to the first floor.
É atraso, mas eu caso porque estou perdidamente apaixonado.
Now we have to work relatively fast. Get your chocolate base that was just chilling. Make sure your base is not hot anymore. Add 1/4 of the egg whites and slowly and nicely incorporate these egg whites to lighten this up. So just do it from the bottom to the top, like gently stirring it. After the mixture is lighter, you can add the rest of your egg whites here. Always stirring carefully so you don't break the air bubbles that is in here, because that's what's gonna make our souffle rise. It's called mechanical leavening. It's like the air bubbles expands and then the souffle rise without any chemical leaveners. Preheat your oven at 400 Fahrenheit and then fill your ramekins 3/4. As soon as you place your souffle in the oven, lower the temperature to 375 and bake it from 8 to 15 minutes.
I'm gonna take you back to my house. I love the feeling when you touch me, baby. It's not as good when I'm by myself. You know you made me go ooh. I'm gonna take you back to my house. I love the feeling when you touch me, baby. It's not as good when I'm by myself.
Time to try it. And as you can see, the souffle collapses pretty fast, even faster than it bakes. And it's gonna stay high for a maximum of 5 minutes after you remove from the oven. But if you didn't whip the egg whites properly and didn't bake it properly, it's gonna collapse even faster, like in 1-2 minutes. You can see our souffle is pretty sad, but still very moist and fluffy. And as souffle sets in the baking process, the proteins gets around the air bubbles we incorporated, and it forms almost like a neighborhood, kind of gluing around the air bubbles, and then it holds up very well. So that's how the souffle stands with this amazing texture that is like mousse texture, but it's not runny. That's important. Don't take your mousse out of your oven before it's done because it's gonna be runny, and that's not how a mousse texture. Oh, souffle.
Well, I can tell that you ain't seen shit like this before. My stage weaken your knees and you'll be begging for more. I saw you doing your thing, minding your
This is is my chocolate souffle with praline disc on top, and I managed to make it rise all the way to the 6th floor. Just like those street cards when I'm buying sweets from them, I always tell them, put the topping to the 6th floor. Bankrupt. I hope you like it, and see you next week with another delicious recipe.
I'm gonna take you back to my house.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and for music lists, like my Facebook page and look for an album called Music List.